Hello everyone, in this video we are going to talk how to create a Lambda function which will be triggered by AWS API Gateway. For that you need to log in into the AWS account and go to the Lambda function. Create a Lambda function. Click on create function. Also from scratch I am keeping it for the demonstration purpose only. So I am keeping the name as my processing Lambda. And runtime language I'm going to use Python 3.9. You can use any language. There are multiple languages supports are available. The rest of the configuration I'm keeping as it is. Let me create a function. It will take around 5 to 10 seconds of time. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere. Yeah, your Lambda is there. It has been successfully created. Now what you have to do, create a add trigger on that and API gateway you need to add. That's it. Yeah. Now you have to create an API option. You have to choose HTTP API default option. The security I am keeping it as open because if you are selecting JWT authorizer, you need to pass some JWT tokens into the while calling the API. So I will be covering that in the other videos. For the timing I'm keeping as open as a security and click on add. So this has been added. So now if you go to the triggers point and if you click on this URL, you will see that this code is returning from the Lambda code. If you go into the code, see this is returned from the Lambda and it's running status code as 200. So this is one of the way that you can add a trigger, API gateway trigger. Now let's discuss about the second way. So what you have to do for that, you need to go into the API gateway. Now create API and let me build REST API. So need to choose the protocol. I'm choosing as REST. Create new API. Yes, new API. Name of the API I'm giving my testing API. This is created for testing purpose. We'll discuss that in detail about the endpoint type. As of now I'm keeping it regional. When you are working with you have to give that URL to the clients over the public internet, in that case you need to choose with regional, and when you working with only the organization only, you can make it private only. So let me create a regional API. Click on create API. Now what you have to do, you have to create a resource, and inside this source you have to create a method and then deploy that API. So there are 3 steps now. So click on create resource. I'm just giving my API resource, so you can choose the name accordingly, and click on create resource. Now you need to add a method into that. So you need to define method type. Method type I'm getting setting as a get, because I'm getting something, because this is hello from the Lambda and this is get type, return type, right? So in that case you need to choose get and click on this sign. So this is done. Now what you have to do, you have to integrate your Lambda function with it. So it is asking for HTTP mock AWS service, but I am keeping Lambda function as an integration type, and then you need to choose your Lambda region. By default this is Mumbai and it is coming right. AP South 1 is the Mumbai. And the function name, my function name is, whenever you type my, you will see the entire name of your Lambda function. So I'm choosing my processing Lambda and click on save. Then it will ask for that add permissions to Lambda function. This is obviously needed because if I make a click on the cancel button, it will not allow you to access any Lambda function. You have to click on the OK. Now it is creating a API for you. Now what you have to do, now your function is ready, your resources are ready, you need to deploy the changes. For that you need to click on the action, deploy API, and then click on the deployment stage. Deployment stage is the, you can say, it's a name or the category where you have to enter new stage. And let me create that stage with the name of QA stage name. This is for the QA. So like this you can create multiple stages. If you are working with the like corporate environment, then you have the different environment for the dev, QA, UAT, production. So you can create multiple stages, and if you are deploying any change on any of this stage, it will not hamper your rest of the changes, rest environment changes. So let me just copy paste into the deployment description as well and click on deploy. Now you can see URL has been given by the API gateway. If you click on this URL, it will give you missing authentication type because we are not passing method name after the stage name. So for that, what you have to do, click on QA stage and click on method name. Then you can see this is your entire complete URL. If you click on that, open link in a new tab, you can say it is returning the same response that we were getting from this Lambda function. So like I stated, there are two ways to configure your API gateway with the Lambda. So I explained two. So first one is the best option because there are less things to do, because whenever you are going into the API gateway, there are tons of things like creating a resources, creating a method, then do the deployment. All of the things done by AWS automatically when you are configuring this thing using the Lambda. So that's in this video. Thank you very much guys. Bye.